So after I made the last video, I went outside. I spend about 80% of my day outside. I really like being outside. I write my papers out there. I do a lot of stuff. But father started showing me the tree. So during the epidemic, when it first hit, I lived on the third floor of this really cool apartment, and I had this huge patio. And that flag you saw in the very first beginning of my videos, I hung that out in front of my slider. And when the wind would blow, it'd blow it up and around, and it had some wear and tear, let me tell you. So it's just me, my flag, my swing, and then I had this other table that I'd write my papers on with my umbrella. So, um, but there was this mesquite tree that was below my patio, and one day I'm out there meditating, and I hear, "Can you give me some water?" And I'm surprised. So I did. I went down and watered it. Every couple of days, I just start watering it. And I look over, and it's literally a part of it is on my balcony. So I'm now grounded, literally. And but nobody could see me. It was just me and God up there, just chilling. And I would always, like praise and worship all the time and meditate and do this stuff. So one day I had this feeling to move my room from the smaller room to the big room. And I was like, I didn't want to do it. I was kind of depressed at the time because I was alone. There's no one but me in a two-bedroom apartment. And I had just started working and my very first call center. And that was the one I got bullied at. And I talked about that in one of those videos. So what happened was I had this acquaintance. I thought she was my friend, but she wasn't. I found out later. But she comes over and she said, "The Lord said I need to help you move that bed into your other room." So all through the years of college, every time I got a stipend, I would buy me a cool bed because I really like loft beds. They're my favorite. And, and this one was real complicated. So what she did was I just didn't feel like moving, so she just moved all my stuff except for my bed. So I don't ever miss work, and it was like a couple of days before training ended, and I got sick out of nowhere, like real sick, and it was a Friday, so I called in, and all of a sudden I felt good, moved my bed into the other room. So the following, uh, it was 2 days later because I was off for some weird reason. Well, because it was training, so usually there's no training on the weekends. So what happened was I had got my bed into the other room. And then I went to work, and there was this guy in there talking about every time he would go back to the homeless shelter, his stuff would be packed out on the street. But the shelter was a ways. It was an hour and a half, so he wouldn't make dinner and he wasn't doing his chores because he was working. But they kept forgetting he was working, and he had a brain injury. And so I said to him, "Hey, dude, I live across the street. I got a room for you, 500 bucks. Um, and then you pay half for food." And he came over and he looked at the place. He goes, "I'll take it." And so he gets all packed up right on our next day off, and he can't find a ride to the house. So I call my stepmom, and we go and get him. And he was my roommate for a while. Um, so, but he moved out after a bit because there was issues I didn't know about, and I needed to make sure the bills were paid, and I couldn't afford to help him if he wasn't on board. So he stayed, I think, 3 months, and then once his end of the month of what he paid for was done, he was out, and the state helped him from there because he like I said, he had a brain injury. But I find really interesting about that tree because also Father showed me a glow and a little seed in the bottom of this pit, and it was Joseph, the one who was thrown into jail because he would not sleep with the king's wives. one of the wives, so she made a false accusation. So he's thrown in this pit. And so he took one of the seeds and he watered it, right? So the whole point of the moral of the story is that the Lord was preparing him, and he was a loyal servant, but he was thrown in prison on a lie, and I was fired on a lie. So I thought it was really interesting, like how this is all turning out, right? So um, that just blows my mind. I'm just like, really, Father? So everything it seems like has dots, right? We all have these dots. So everything you go through in life, there's a purpose for it. And I'm starting to see them connecting. It's like, okay, so I learned the other day on um, about trees. So they live for thousands of years, right? And it's because of the root system and how they grow. And if you think about it, because somebody out of nowhere was talking to me, I had to go to the hospital the other night because I was having a real stress breakdown. I had bad pain in my head. And he said, you know, my wife was Christian and he wasn't. He didn't believe in any of that. But when he started seeing the things that was happening to her, she started to change. He started to change, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden he started getting messages. And so he brought up the connection of the trees. And I was like, well, that's mind blowing. But he also mentioned Satan. And his dad wasn't a real believer. And so he just kind of went with the flow, you know, he just followed what was right. And that was all he needed. And then he started like putting pieces together. So I was telling him about the miracles of life because when my daughter was able to talk, she would always ask where I come from, where I come from, how did I get here, you know, and stuff. So I'd always show her that movie, The Miracle of Life, and he said he'd never seen that. I go, it shows you from when you start. We're just like a totem in a lake, right? And we grow to this beautiful human being just like the tree. But they also have ancestors. In the forest, they're coming that they're sprouting new every time. You know, like the forest when it burns and then it comes back, it's all new. It's all new plantation. It's going to grow back twice as strong. So it's like when everything happens in the world, it's all for a purpose. You know, everything happens for a reason. It sucks that, you know, like the life I've been dealt, but it's paying off. Like it's showing me a lot. You know, sometimes I overthink things. I have to take a time out or something. Um, and I just go back to my swing and swing. And I have a tree in front. It's a beautiful tree. It's an olive tree. I just love it. Oh my gosh. No, no, no. It's an apricot tree. No, it has nuts on it. But like, if I'm like off somewhere, all of a sudden it will hit me with one of those nuts. The tree it just flies off. The other day I was coming up the stairs and it's concrete all around me, and I get hit with this shell. Acorn? Yeah, it's an acorn. And I'm like, I'm way over here. Like, how did that hit me? And my daughter's thinking, well, maybe it bounced off the railing. I'm like, come on. I mean, it felt like it came from top, like directly above me. And I'm like, there's concrete on here. What's going on? So I just find it fascinating. And when he showed me that tree, I was like, what? God has a purpose for everything. Everybody has a purpose. I'm telling you. And that's why it's important to have him in your life because he is giving you what you need. Everything has a seed, right? And it grows in its own time, in its own moment. And all the struggles that we go through in life, they're lessons for us. It's fascinating. Like, I'm just blown out of the water right now. I'm just like, what? What is going on? You know? I have my highs and I have my lows. And so I just feel like he's healing me in such a fabulous way. Like, I want to put it into words. He shows me through the visions and the pictures and the life experiences, but it's so hard to fathom that I'm just this peon. Everybody is treating me like I'm nothing. but he's treating me like I'm something, like I matter. I'm worthy, you know? So I asked Father after the gaslighter. Maybe it was before then, because um, he was this the one that would spy on all my stuff. And sorry for the name, I'll pop that out of there. Um, but I, I waited for him, like, for years, and he would always toy with me, like this, with breadcrumb me. He'd in and out all the time. He'd leave the state, call me up. He just kept me like on his hook all the time. And when he came back and he didn't follow through with anything he wanted to be, I was so angry. I didn't want anything to do with him after that. I didn't even help him anymore. I was like, this guy's an idiot. Unbelievable. But, you know, I'm an idiot too. Obviously, because I was really hurt, what they did to me. But with that organization, but no one will ever treat me like that again. And I will never be, ever, in this lifetime, in any lifetime, in ever be breadcrumbed again. If I don't get the respect up front, you know, I mean, I'm always good to people. I love everybody unconditionally because that's what God taught me love. He taught me love first because love is so important. I wouldn't even, couldn't even imagine ever being mistreated again in my life. You know, God's speaking up for me though. He's my rock, and I would not trade him in for nothing. Not a darn thing. Nothing. If you don't like God, you and me ain't hanging. If you want to learn about God, watch what we do. Watch. There's a lot of Christians out there who are good people, you know, and they're probably going through way worse things than I am. Just remember, I love you. Send me your messages. Talk to me. Call me. You know, send me emails. I'm here for you. And whatever you need from God, I'm going to help you with it. If you need resources, I got them. I got you. So please don't give up. Just stay with Father. A couple days ago, I was really hurt about something, and I literally felt Jesus with me. Like I could feel his embrace. He knew, you know, he knew. I just wanted to share. God bless. You guys take care. I love you all. And bye for now.